For decades, the policy response to supporting people with disabilities in Ireland has reflected the medical model of disability, where people were seen as having something wrong with their body or something wrong with their mind. And the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities calls for a transformation of the policy response from the medical to the social or human rights-based model of disability, where people with disabilities are no longer seen as medical objects to be institutionalised, but as individuals capable of living independently, being included in communities and contributing to society as citizens with rights equal to any of the rest of us. However, progress on implementing these rights has been extremely slow, to say the least. And a major issue in this regard is the failure to ratify the optional protocol of the UNCRPD. While Ireland ratified the UNCRPD into law in 2018, it was the last EU member state to do so. It was 11 years after they'd first signed the convention. And we still have not ratified the optional protocol, and we are one of 3 EU states who have not done so. If it was ratified, it would enable disabled people to apply directly to the United Nations if they feel their rights under the Convention are not being respected. And it would offer access to justice for rights holders where all available domestic remedies have been exhausted. In June 2021, the Disability Matters Committee heard from the Secretary-General of the Department of Children, and they stated their aim was to ensure the ratification of the optional protocol without delay as soon as absolutely possible. In fact, I think it was mentioned after the Assisted Decision Making Act was signed into law. That has been signed into law over a year ago, and still the optional protocol has not been ratified. We also heard from the Irish Human Rights and Equality Commission, Gerard Quinn, the UN rapporteur. All of them have said that there is nothing stopping the optional protocol being ratified at any point, and this needs to be done without delay. It should have been done long ago, and there should be no more excuses. Article 19 of the UNCRPD calls for independent living and inclusive life in the community for people with disabilities. The rights, supports and services are a necessity in enabling disabled people achieve independent lives, and they should be integrated and part of their community. But the delivery of appropriate supports and services to assist disabled people to achieve independent living is centrally important, but they're not available in the way that they should be. We need to see more PA services so that people can live independently. We need to see accessible housing. We need to see assistive technology in those houses so that people can live alone there. We need to see accessible transport. We need to see all government policies disability-proof to ensure that disabled people have access to those services. And disabled people should be consulted on everything. It says so in the UNCRPD, but it's obvious that they're not. Most recently, this was evident with the Green Paper on Disability Reform. My colleague Deputy O'Leary and I met with a number of groups and individuals to discuss that, because there were people who were very concerned about it, and no one seemed to be consulted about the paper. It was just simply landed on them without any prior warning or discussion. And they have been worried about the impact that that's going to have on their lives. That's symptomatic of the indifferent way in which disabled people are still being treated. It's no wonder that their current supports and services provided for are far from adequate. Now, the Disability Capacity Review has shone a light on the large gaps in service provision. Evidence from previous budget allocations for disability services from this government does not, however, fill me with confidence that these gaps will be closed. There doesn't seem to be an appetite or focus from the government to deliver additional funding needed. In budget 2024, the government allocated 64.1 million for new measures. The Disability Capacity Review explains clearly that disability services will need at least 80 to 90 million in additional resources every year. So when the state fails to deliver on its responsibilities, the onus regularly falls back on families. It is estimated that family carers in Ireland number in excess of 500,000. And they save the state, we estimate, 20 billion each and every year. They do incredible work. However, our family carers frequently feel forgotten, ignored and taken for granted. Now, the National Carer Strategy was published in 2012. It sets out 42 actions to improve lives of family carers and those for whom they care. The programme of government in 2020 contained a commitment to progress a review and update the National Carer Strategy. This, like so many other commitments from this government, has not, however, materialised. So people with disabilities and carers deserve better. And I just quickly want to comment on what the Taoiseach said on a programme on Virgin Media yesterday evening around carers. He clearly has absolutely no understanding of what caring and what family carers actually do. He indicated that he would care for family members if he had to. Yeah, he would pay for care for family members because he's in a position to pay for family carers on the wages that he earns. Most family carers are not. They are actually absolutely financially struggling to make ends meet and are out additional costs in relation to the care that they provide. Thank you.